with that, I think, there's lots of threads up there. I want to open it up to the audience. I'm sure there are lots of questions. There's already a hand raising in the back.
Yeah.
Do you want to stand up and identify yourself?
Yeah, I'm Amrita. My question is specifically to Rudra Pratap sir. Thanks a lot for your very energetic speech. My question is, first I'll give you a background. I myself am trying to work on development of nano cantilevers. And this I have been trying ever since I was in college, and it is still a passion for me. But as of today, I'm not a part of academia because I've already graduated. I'm not a part of industry in the NEMS forum. So can people like me have a collaboration with your Nanoscience and Engineering Center? Can we have a prototype development or a proof of concept collaboration?
Yeah, we have identified your segment. Okay, there are innovators, there are engineers who are not connected, and they would like access. We are trying to create some sort of a framework in which you can. We had to just convince the funding agency. You see, there is a program called Indian Nanoelectronics Users Program, okay, that provides access to lots of research students in academia all across India, right? So we have good experience with that. In the second phase of that program, which starts in about a month, we said, let's enlarge this and not limit it to only academic users, but also for people who may not be necessarily in industry or in academia. So we treat you as an individual startup. You are yourself an enterprise, okay? You have thought about an idea and you want to work. So we do something better. We provide not only the opportunity for you to use the facilities, but also the expertise of other people in our center to work with you. So this will be coming up very soon. In about a month's time, it should open up to everybody.
And perhaps you also provide something for their living. Okay.
Now for that you will have to work with us.
Okay,
right?
sure. So I think there has to be also, this is a wonderful opportunity, but also some kind of a system which is promoting, funding this kind of an enterprise, an individual enterprise who has got a large energy. So these are some of the missing elements perhaps we need to identify and solve.
Sir, if you don't mind, I have a follow-up question. If you are aware, then I think in US, Sandia National Laboratories was working in developing open source softwares and open source tools to be available to individual innovators. Like LAMPS is a very good example of that. So can we expect anything of that model from IISc or for any of the IITs for that matter?
Well, actually you can, but see, right now the trouble is this. We have very few facilities, well, I mean, only two, IIT Bombay and IISc, and three others are coming up. But the demand on these facilities is huge. Just from academia, we are not able to keep up. As I said, 300 universities plugged in. It's not a joke, Lots of research students coming in, working. So our facilities are getting overwhelmed. And that's why we are saying that let's set up more facilities because the demand we see is very high. Once we have a few more, then this open source system will become available to everybody. Right now it's a constraint of resources in terms of time availability at the machines and at the facilities that we have. That's all.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
I'm going to ask Dr. Curion a question here, which is following up because there is, one of the things at the IESA we obsess over is what is the right model to make this work as we scale it. And Professor Rudra Pratap talked about the Indian Nanoelectronics Program. You talked about an open innovation model, but that seems to be geared to work with large entities more than the smaller ones, or like the lady mentioned, an individual who has an idea. Do you in Canada or in Quebec have a model where somebody like her, a young person with an idea, can plug into the system?
Yeah, with an N of 1 like that, we still don't have a program like that. But we do have various programs for small and medium-sized enterprise. So we try to help, either in partnership with academia or helping them to hire someone, a student, a young person that have bright ideas. So we have a first job type of program. So we try to have that. We also have some infrastructure like you were talking about. We have a bit of the same issue, that they are a bit overwhelmed with the demand. So we need probably a bit like you here to have a few more of those, to be able at least to answer to the needs of the college and university. And after that, maybe it could be open a bit more broadly, but we're not there yet. So we have to follow your example there.
Sure.
Any other questions?
Right.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Shyam from daysinfo.com. Well, this is the right forum actually, because I have IESA, I have, I'm sorry, but NASCOM isn't here still, but we have IIC, etc. The new trend or the new talk of the town is Internet of Things. And I personally feel that this comes to effect right from the basis how it is articulated as an idea, to how products are formed, to how the UI and the software on top of it goes. So what is that is being driven by all the forums together in that particular direction that can see I would say a path breaking or a breakthrough happening in the next few years, because the demand of all the consumers are skyrocketing right now. They're seeing all concept models on the internet saying, when is this coming out today? So just wanted to check, what is that on Internet of Things that each one of your organizations, and if there is something specific to Quebec or Canada that's happening on that front?
Maybe if I understood the question correctly, it's certainly a challenge for organizations like the one that I'm heading. And I think it's true in the US as well and in Europe, because it's highly competitive these days. When it's very competitive, we have the tendency not to take risk. So the chaos is kind of disappear. And the success rate in granting agency in Canada is about 10 to 15%. In the state, various institutes at the NIH, for example, in the health sector will be 7 to 8%. The European Research Council is about 10%. And as scientists, we are excited by new things, but when we are member of panel, we tend to be on the safe side. So you look at the proposals, I'm not sure, and then you go for the safer thing. What we were able to achieve in our strategy, and it's to save some budget for high-risk project. A bit of a crazy idea that you have. And there, what I would like to achieve, and if you want to share the risk with us would be great, is to say, well, I would like to to support some research project, and you don't want to go to first base, if I use a baseball analogy. You want to have an home run. You know that maybe 90% of the project that you fund will not succeed. But the one that succeeds, maybe it's a paradigm shift. Maybe it's a breakthrough. So I was able to convince my minister and the government of that. So now I hope to be able to convince partners so that we share a bit of risk. Because otherwise, why are we doing what we're doing if we cannot take any risk?
On Internet of Things, in general, you talk about the bigger buzzword for that is cyber physical systems. And at Indian Institute of Science, we have a whole new center which is funded by Robert Bosch Foundation with a large amount of funding, and it's called Robert Bosch Center for Cyber Physical Systems. What they are looking at is precisely what you are saying, okay, Internet of Things. And they are looking at creating systems that communicate with each other. And of course, when things we already communicate to things, but things need to communicate to other things. So this is a work which has been initiated. It requires 3 components. It requires lots of work on sensor technology, okay? Because when things have to communicate with each other, they have to sense each other's mood first. They have to know what the other one is trying to say, or why, or when. So sensor technology is the key. And sensor technology, not any sensor technology, but sensor technology at very low energy cost. That's the key. Very, very low energy cost. So sensor technology, communication technology, okay, so communication technology seems to be more or less in place, except for the fact that when you start doing low budgeting of energy, then you think that the existing technologies are not good enough, okay? Your RF transmitters are still consuming a lot more power than what you want when things start talking to each other. So these are the areas, along with a huge amount of effort in embedded software, okay? Embedded software. So now you want very, very quick response, right? So the software itself is going through a lot of change in terms of its architecture, in terms of what language it should use, in terms of what kind of operating system you can embed in these machines. So that's the thrust of this entire center, and we are certainly working on making Internet of Things possible.